My first memory was my mom holding me on a plant. It was like a peace lily or something like that, and I was just like a little kid. Plants have always just been present in my life, and it's just always something that I was attracted to. And I always felt like this weird want and need for like nature. Power Plant started just as a name, right? It was gonna be like a plant shop, but that wasn't the only sustainable thing. So then the coffee thing came into play. I think just having plants around makes the space feel more alive, and just like we're all growing as like one. But the biggest thing for me doing this was just to show people that anything is possible. My name is Juan Jimenez. I am a 27-year-old creative out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I run a coffee shop, an event space, and plant shop called Power Plant. I'm originally from Mexico, Benjamo, Guanajuato, and when I was 3, we migrated to Fresno, risking everything to give me a better life. We came to Albuquerque whenever I was 7, and it was a weird transition because I was like, at that time I was just learning English. Back in Fresno, I went to like a bilingual school. Coming here, it was just like a strictly English school. So I was just trying my hardest to like fit in and not be like an outsider, you know, like this little Mexican kid. They label me as like a non-permanent alien, you know? So it's just like being alienized, which is a crazy thing. Feeling like a temporary being here. Yeah, it was always like a huge thought in my head. Oh, when are we gonna get deported? You know, and stuff like that. And that was a huge like reality to face. And it's something that I still question, you know. When am I gonna be able to be like a permanent resident of the United States, even though I'm already paying my taxes? But I don't really like try to like let it faze me just because I'm currently on the DACA program. It feels a little bit nicer to be like somewhat documented versus not documented at all. I just try to stay like positive, you know, like I'm here. Nobody's gonna take me away from my home, and I'll always fight to be here. The biggest things that I can take away from my parents is just that they're dedicated, hardworking, and like the most honest and joyful people. And I strive to be like them. My mom has always been super into plants. She's always had like the house full of plants. I was just always an artistic kid because I just liked expressing myself in like different ways. And then Power Plant came about just based off of a name. And at that point I was doing upcycled planters, and it just like slowly became something bigger. Yeah, it was a no-brainer because I think a lot of people relate to the things that I enjoy. So it was just bringing that into one root. You know, having the general thought of having the space to then sourcing everything, it didn't only happen just through me. There was a lot of people along the way that helped me and were here like painting with me or helping me source equipment and things like that. So it took a village for sure. We source plants from everywhere and anywhere that you can think of. It started out on like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, like every day, just seeing what was going on. And then it slowly like spawned to us getting our nursery license and having wholesale accounts in Arizona and Denver. It all took time. It gives me life for sure. Yeah, and we're all just like slowly growing together and dying at times, you know, but that's just life. But it makes me feel alive. Explaining it to my parents, it was a weird thing because they've always been like really, really supportive, but I think they actually understood it whenever they came for the opening, because they saw like people interacting with the space and they saw how people viewed plants and just like the overall culture of the city. You know, at times there's like where I want to give up, you know, but then I think about like the sacrifices they made in order for me to be here. People are gonna say it's impossible or that you don't know what you're doing. I may have not known what I was doing initially, you know, and I still don't, but I have a little bit better of a grasp. And I want people to see that anything is possible. Anything that they dream or anything that they think is like in reach. As long as you have a goal in mind, dedication, and you're resilient.